how's it going, folks? Welcome back to another episode of our venture in the visual novel, Adventure of a Lifetime. Last episode, some emotions have boiled over due to serious bottling, which we discussed in the last episode that is a very unhealthy thing to do. And the example of here shows that. Not only just the example in this, even though this is a scripted fictional media entertainment, but this is also a prime example of what happens in life. If we don't get those troubling issues within us resolved, it can cause emotional turmoil, and those emotions will eventually boil over. So we need to get those resolved through the solutions that need to happen, not just the solutions we want to happen, because as expressed before, the solutions we may want may actually cause more problems than they actually solve. So with that, we're going to continue on to see how Hiroki is responding to Chisa, who stripped down in the dark and went into the ocean to swim. And now she's demanding that Hiroki join her. So let's hope this all stays on a level head, because... all right, let's just go. All right, let's see what happens. Yeah, we are not showing that. Here I come. I chased after her. The ocean reflected the dark sky, but the stars lit up Chisa's form as she flitted in and out of view like a mirage. In the faint light, I couldn't see much more than vague contours of her glistening wet skin. Wait up! Chisa swam past me, lightly tapping the back of my hand before disappearing beneath the waves. She dived deep before leaping up again with a splash. Just like always, Chisa seemed much more alive once she got in the water. Oh, really? And what was that? Oh, yeah? So what did you tell her? That meant that Emily must have liked me at some point. But she kept those feelings secret so she wouldn't get between me and Chisa. Yeah, well, if I had known it turned out like this, I would have just said, forget it, Hiroki. Let's go with Emily. So what happened then? I figured that's what it was. Good question. Well, in many cases they are. The objective is simple, but oftentimes the obstacles can be gigantic. But oftentimes our biggest obstacle is really ourselves.
あなたが臆病者なだけでしょ。それに私は日本生まれの日本人よ。ハーフだけど。
ほんとふざけてるわ。エミリーもそれからあんたも。
Says the individual who does not remain honest about their feelings.
店がなくなったらもう来なくなるくせに好きとか言われるこっちの身にもなってよね。
I'd come back again just to see you.
信じない。だって4年間会いに来なかったじゃない。
I mean it.
いい加減な約束しないで。裏切られるのは嫌だから。
I'm being serious here, and I'm sorry I was gone for so long. I'd had no control over that. I was just a kid. But I could have stayed in touch better. There was no denying that I had neglected Chisa. I thought nothing would ever change, that no matter how much time had passed, things would always be the same between us. When I was a kid, I'd come to Ogasawara every summer, and every time I saw Chisa, it was as if we'd only been apart a week or so. I guess I thought 4 years wouldn't make that much of a difference. In a sense, I'd been right. Chisa had grown up on the outside, but on the inside, she was the same Chisa as before. You're still the only one I can count on as my buddy. Suddenly, Chisa froze up. Oh no! I was able to stop myself from running into her, and we both tumbled into the shallow water. As I opened my eyes, I found Chisa face up in the sand with my body hanging over hers. Okay, so now that you recognize that, get off! Hey, you alright? Okay, do you really have to stay hovered over her? That's what I never understood. Why does the dude always have to stay hovered over? When Chisa saw my face right in front of her, she blushed and started thrashing around. She tried to get back on her feet, but our arms and legs were intertwined. Okay, so unintertwine them.
Hiroki, どいてもらえないかな。
Yeah, seriously, dude. Only if you admit how you really feel. You can't do that, bruh. You can't do that.
近いよ。
Well, we're still buddies, right?
でも、あの時私のせいで。
I figured it'd have to be some guilt along with it. Back then? Well, it's not like I got hurt or anything. Everything turned out fine.
あるよ。あの時、振り返ったら、ヒロキがいなくなってた。背筋が凍りつくような寒気が、今でも忘れられないの。
Is that why you gave up scuba? Chisa nodded. Just as I thought, she'd been blaming herself for that free current that took me out to the open water.
それに、さっきのアルバイトの話も嘘よ。
You lied? What do you mean?
夏の間だけバイトしたくらいじゃ島から出ていくお金なんてたまらない。でもいつか島を出るんだって決意して行動している気にはなれるから。要するにただのポーズ。私はまだ諦めちゃいないんだってそう思っていられる。
Chisa.
九太郎のこともだよ。お別れして気づいたの。私はずっと群れからはぐれた九太郎が寂しくないよう相手してあげてる気でいた。でもいつの間にか逆になってた。ヒロキが来なくなって寂しがってる私に九太郎が寄り添ってくれてた。あの子は踊ろうと思えば いつでも群れに戻れたの。でも私のことを心配して、私は寂しがり屋で臆病者で、そのくせ意地っ張りで、こんな自分が嫌になる。
The first step to resolving a problem is acknowledging what is the problem. The next step is making the effort to correct the issue. Chisa. I wiped away the tears that were spilling down Chisa's cheeks. I really am sorry for leaving you alone for so long.
本当だよ。
I know that I can't promise that I'll always be with you, but I can promise that one day I'll take you away from this island.
ヒロキ。
Once I'm old enough to make my own decisions about where and how I live, I'll come get you. So just hold on a little while longer, okay? Chisa sniffled, then fell silent, and closed her eyes. Chisa lay there with her eyes closed, waiting. So I took her in my arms and kissed her. Chisa's moist lips were so soft, yet very warm to the touch. The kiss was soft, awkward, yet passionate. I love you.
私も好き。ヒロキのこと大好きだったの。
Chisa looked down to avoid making eye contact, her face turning a bright red.
子供の頃からずっと好きだったんだよ。私が彼氏作れないのはあんたのせいなんだから。
I figured as much.
約束守ってね。私ヒロキのためなら何年でも待てちゃうから。
Yeah. Chisa?
気持ちを打ち明けたら裸なのが急にめちゃめちゃ恥ずかしくなってきた。
Then you never should have stripped down all the way to begin with. Yeah, now that you mention it.
見るな。
Don't worry, it's dark. I can't see a thing.
嘘よ。だって星が明るいから。あんたのことも結構見えてたもん。
Was what I could see really that important, considering our bodies had been pressed right against each other for a while now? Alright then, you should just kiss me instead.
はい。
If we kiss, I'll only be able to see your face, right?
こいつ調子に乗ってるわ。弱みを見せちゃったせいね。
I guess it's because I've known you for so long. Chisa held me tight and pressed her lips to mine. I returned the kiss. Chisa pulled away just a little.
恥ずかしいことさせて。ヒロキってこういうやつだったんだ。
Just realizing this now?
私には逆らえないって思ってた。
I'm sure there's a lot more to discover about each other that we didn't know before.
せっかく楽しみ。
Laying there on the beach, the waves moving back and forth over us, we kissed again and again. I had a sense that was gonna happen.
朝帰りなんてやりすぎ。
Reconciling much needed issues. In the morning, we fixed the engine and returned home to find a furious Emily.
初デートで朝帰りなんて。
Trembling with rage, Emily pulled Chisa aside.
私そこまでしろとは言ってないわよ。いやー、成り行きで。で、どこまで行ったの？
どこまでって？
だからその
裸で抱き合った。
Well, that was direct.
エミリー、もしもーし。
ちょっと想像を超えてて頭の処理が追いつかない。
Emily staggered over to the counter and collapsed into a chair.
これってやっぱり私のせいなのかしら。二人が初デートで一線を越えてしまうなんて。
Nah, Emily, that's not how that works. You did your part by just influencing them, but where they took it from there is their responsibility. This is a misunderstanding, Emily. Whatever you're thinking, it's not as bad as that.
あら、私のファーストキスを奪ったくせに。キス？そうなのよ。ひと夏の体験しちゃった。もう無理。頭がオーバーヒートする。
Emily got to her feet and started to head into the house.
あ、エミリー、もう一つ報告があるんだけど。まだあるの
Emily braced herself for the shock of whatever Chisa was going to say.
あんたの代わりに潜ることにしたから。え？幽霊船よ。やってあげる、スクーバ。ほんと？女に二言はない。ありがとう、チサ。
Emily sprang forward and threw her arms around Chisa. After untangling herself, Chisa gave a long yawn.
あんまり寝てないから一度家へ帰るね。お父さんとお母さんにお説教されてくる。怒ってるだろうね。
Want me to come with? We should probably explain what happened with the engine and how we had no choice but to stay out all night.
いらない。エミリーみたいな勘違いをされたらお説教じゃ済まないわよ。
Yeah, you're right.
じゃあね、ヒロキ、エミリー。
With one last smile, Chisa headed back down the road to her house. I think I'll take a shower and maybe nap.
一線越えちゃったんだ。
Blushing from ear to ear, Emily backed away and retreated to the sanctuary of her own room. That day, the same as any other, Chisa stripped down to her swimsuit as soon as we landed on Minamijima.
はい、チサ。ありがとう。
Chisa squeezed into her wetsuit Emily had handed to her.
ヒロキ、お願い。
She asked as she turned her back to me, and I zipped up her suit.
よし。
Chisa said quietly as she started her safety check. Her face was tight with tension. It had been 4 years since she put on a wetsuit. After Chisa had strapped on her cylinder and other diving equipment, we started our body check.
ウェイト、オッケー。エア、オッケー。
After an unusually thorough check, Chisa took a few deep breaths. Yeah, she's still nervous about what happened before. You've got the cylinder for air. No need to load up now.
そっか。ついいつもの癖で。
Repeated deep breathing to relax the body is a technique used in freediving. A relaxed body uses less oxygen, which allows for longer dives. This technique had become such a habit that Chisa did it naturally anytime she got in the water. But with a diving cylinder, the technique wasn't needed. She put on her mask. You ready?
うん、いいよ。お願いね、チサ、ヒロくん。でも、くれぐれも無理はしちゃダメよ。任せといて。エミリーの大切な宝物、必ずサルベージしてくるから。
Chisa and I faced each other, took each other's shoulders, and started our sidestep into the shallow waters of the sea. You look nervous.
そうかな。
Come on, relax already.
うん。
Chisa's expression remained unchanged.
私がしっかりしないと、またヒロキを危険な目に遭わせちゃうかもしれないもんね。
I thought I told you to relax. I rubbed Chisa's shoulder to comfort her. You have a bad habit of overthinking things. We're finally diving together again. Let's enjoy it.
もう。
And yet Chisa's expression remained fixed. This could make diving even more dangerous. maybe it'd be better if we called it quits today. I know you think leaving the island means abandoning it, but it's not like that. You probably think sending Finn back to his pod means your relationship with him is over too.
うん。だってもう会えないんだし。
You're really serious.
何よ。こんな時に変な話しないでくれる？ダイビングに集中したいんですけど。
None of this is forever, you know. Even if you leave the island, you can always just come back.
わかんないよ、そんなこと言われたって。私はこの小さな島しか知らないんだから。ここから出ていく勇気もまだ持てないでいるんだもん。
Look, you don't have to struggle with this all by yourself. You and I are buddies after all, right? Chisa was afraid of committing to being a real partner because she was afraid of loss. This was my fault, thinking that nothing would change after being away for 4 years. You're the one who taught me that the world below the waves isn't a lonely one.
どういうこと？
In nearly every memory I have of Ogasawara, every moment in the seas or under its skies, you were there.
そっか。
So just enjoy it, no matter what you go through. Remember, you don't have to deal with it alone.
うん。わかった。
All right, and let's find out how things progress after this on the next episode. Well, it looks like they got some reconciliation, most likely in the most romantic / emotionally passionate ways. And remember, this is a scripted form of entertainment. So it's fictional, basically. So the thing is you get the situation straight first with proper communication and proper comprehension. You can't just communicate. You have to comprehend properly, too. Some of us don't do a lot of that. Some of us just listen to reply instead of listening to understand. So that's an issue in society that needs to get fixed. And of course, there's some layers behind that as to why that is. One of them being foolish pride. But with that, I want to thank everyone for watching this video this time around. If you like what you saw this time, maybe consider leaving a like. And if you'd like to see more, maybe consider subscribing if you haven't already. So until next time, happy mixing, everyone.